Greetings, my dear viewer. This is a channel about marital infidelity and about the consequences if one spouse starts to cheat on the other. If you, as well as I do, support true family values and condemn cheating, then subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Derek. Never in a million years did I think I'd be wide awake at 3 a.m., staring blankly at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Just a few hours ago, life felt normal. Sophia and I had been together for 5 years, our marriage stable, our careers in good shape. No kids, no overwhelming debt, no looming crises. Everything was steady, or so I thought. Now that stability feels like a dream, a version of my life that belonged to someone else. Our routine had been predictable but comforting. Weeknight dinners, leisurely walks through the farmer's market on weekends, long conversations about future vacations. Maybe it wasn't exhilarating, but it was ours, and I liked it that way. Then, out of nowhere, Sophia dropped a bomb that shattered everything. "Derek," she said, her tone disturbingly calm, "I need to tell you something. I've been seeing someone else." For a second, I thought I misheard her. Sophia? Unfaithful? It didn't compute. But before I could even wrap my head around that, she hit me with something even worse. "I want to open our marriage." It felt like my entire body short-circuited. My mind spun, my vision blurred. This wasn't happening. It couldn't be real. "What the hell are you saying?" My voice barely came out. "How long has this been going on?" She launched into some speech about feeling unfulfilled, needing to explore new things, but I barely heard any of it. Words like affair and open marriage kept slamming into me, each one like a fresh wound. How could she do this? How could she throw everything away like it meant nothing? I shut her down immediately. There was no chance in hell I would ever agree to something like that. The trust was already broken. How could bringing other people into the mix possibly fix anything? The moment reality caught up with me, I knew I needed professional help. Legal help. I grabbed my phone, started searching for divorce attorneys, found a few that seemed reputable, sent off consultation requests. It all felt surreal, like I was watching myself from the outside. Me hiring a divorce lawyer. It didn't seem possible. And now, hours later, I'm lying here, replaying every second of our conversation. Every sentence, every flicker of expression on her face as she dismantled everything we built together. Should I have seen this coming? Were there signs I ignored? Hints I dismissed? But how was I supposed to know? I thought we were solid. I thought we were forever. Everything I believed about my marriage, about Sophia, has been flipped on its head. Just yesterday, I was a happily married man. Now, I'm betrayed. I'm alone. I'm lost. The future I envisioned, growing old together, maybe even starting a family someday, building a life side by side, is gone. In its place is a terrifying blank slate. I have no idea what comes next, but one thing is clear. Nothing will ever be the same again. As the first light of morning creeps through the curtains, I realize I haven't slept a single minute. In a few hours, I have to show up at work, pretend everything is fine. But how? How do I go through the motions when my entire life has imploded? I have no choice. At least not until I meet with a lawyer and figure out my next steps. Because one thing is certain. There's no going back. My life has taken a turn I never saw coming, and for the first time in years, I'm completely on my own. Sophia here. I take a slow sip of coffee, scrolling through my phone, a satisfied smirk tugging at my lips. Derek's reaction last night? Exactly what I expected. Shock, anger, outright refusal, predictable, typical. But that's Derek, always the cautious one, always coloring inside the lines. Well, I'm done with that. I'm done pretending that a single person is supposed to fulfill every desire, every need. It's the modern world. People have evolved past the rigid constraints of monogamy. Derek just hasn't caught up yet. I think about Jacob, the spark between us, the fire. It isn't just about the physical connection, though that part is undeniable. It's the openness, the honesty, the complete lack of limitations. With Jacob, I can be who I truly am. No guilt, no pretending. Why should marriage mean giving that up? Maybe I should feel guilty about the affair, but I don't. Not really. If anything, I feel liberated. For the first time, I'm not waiting for someone else to make me happy. I'm taking control of my own joy, and it's exhilarating. Besides, I'm not alone in this. More and more couples are embracing open relationships. The world is shifting. Derek just refuses to see it. They are thriving, experiencing a level of openness and connection that most monogamous couples could only dream of. If only Derek could shift his perspective, we could have that too. I glance at my phone, contemplating whether to call my mother. She has always been my anchor, the person I turn to for clarity and reassurance. She'll understand. She has always encouraged me to carve my own path, to embrace the life that feels right for me. And Derek's mother, he doesn't give her enough credit. She's far more progressive than he assumes. With their support, this strain won't last. In time, he'll realize that this is the healthiest choice for us, for our marriage. We could be that couple, admired, liberated, completely fulfilled. I take the last sip of my coffee and step toward the mirror to prepare for the day. As I carefully apply my makeup, I meet my own gaze, self-assured and luminous. This is the woman I have always aspired to be, and I refuse to retreat now. Derek is struggling, but he'll adapt. He always does. Once he understands what I see, our marriage will become richer, more honest, more harmonious. A true partnership in every sense. I grab my keys and head for the door, already anticipating my evening with Jacob. As I drive to work, a thrill courses through me. This is the beginning of something profound. Even if Derek can't see it yet, we are standing on the brink of transformation. But then, I find myself sitting in a lawyer's office, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. The past few days have been a relentless storm of sleepless nights and painful revelations. But now, it's time to take action. Derek, the lawyer says, her tone calm yet firm. Considering the circumstances, my best advice is to separate your finances immediately. A strange mix of relief and sorrow washes over me as I nod. This is real. My marriage is unraveling, and I am here, preparing to secure my financial independence. With no children and both of you earning similar incomes, she continues, this should be a relatively straightforward process. No complicated disputes, just the complete dissolution of the life I thought we were building. I push the thought aside. I need to stay focused. What's the next step? I ask, flipping open my notebook. For the next hour, we meticulously go through the motions, dividing assets, closing joint accounts, preparing for negotiations. By the time I walk out of her office, the weight of reality presses down on me. The list in my hands turns my worst fears into something undeniable. My phone buzzes. It's my mother, asking if she can come over. Too drained to resist, I agree. When I open the door, I'm caught off guard. She's not alone. Sophia's mother stands beside her. Just what I needed. Well, sweetheart, my mother begins as they settle onto the couch. We heard about what's happening with you and Sophia. I stiffen. Of course, Sophia told them. No doubt she painted herself as courageous and me as unreasonable. We wanted to talk to you, Sophia's mother adds gently, to help you see things differently. A bitter chuckle escapes me. See what exactly? That my wife betrayed me and expects me to accept it? My mother reaches for my hand, a familiar gesture meant to soothe. Honey, relationships are evolving. Open marriages, polyamory, it's becoming more common than you think. I pull away, a cold detachment settling over me. Are you really trying to justify this? Oh, I understand where you're coming from. My voice drips with sarcasm. It's not about justification, Sophia's mother insists. It's about expanding your perspective. My marriage has been open for years. I stare at her, momentarily speechless. And then, it all clicks. This is where Sophia's mindset was shaped. No wonder she believes this is acceptable. Derek, my mother pleads, her voice gentle. We just want both of you to be happy. Maybe if you considered... I cut her off. No. My voice is steady, unwavering. That's enough. They exchange uneasy glances, their disappointment apparent. It only fuels my resolve. Let's get one thing straight, I continue, standing up. Neither of you have the right to lecture me about commitment. Mom, you've been divorced twice, both times because you cheated. I never wanted to throw that in your face, but you've left me no choice. I shift my gaze to Sophia's mother. And you? Congratulations on your arrangement. But that's not the promise I made. I didn't stand before our loved ones and vow fidelity to Sophia just for her to decide, years later, that those vows were flexible. I didn't build a life with her so she could discard it when the thrill of someone new became too tempting. And I certainly didn't commit to marriage just to share my wife with whoever piques her interest. They try to interject, but I don't let them. I've kept this in for too long. If you want to sleep around, don't get married. It's that simple. I inhale deeply, a newfound clarity settling in. Sophia made her choice, to break our vows, to choose someone else. Now, I'm making mine. I turn away without hesitation. The room hangs heavy with unspoken words, a thick tension pressing down on everyone left behind. My mother's face crumples, as if she's barely holding back tears, while Sophia's mother stares at the floor, her expression unreadable. None of it matters to me. For the first time since this ordeal began, I feel rooted in my decision. Stepping toward the door, I speak with quiet finality. It's time for you both to go. They gather their things in silence, their eyes darting toward me with a mix of apprehension and disbelief. As they reach the threshold, my mother hesitates, turning back. Derek, we only want what's best for you, she murmurs, her voice almost pleading. I meet her gaze without wavering. Then respect my choice. This marriage is done. The door clicks shut behind them, and a weight I hadn't realized I was carrying lifts from my chest. The road ahead remains uncertain, but at least now I know where I'm headed. I take out my phone, scrolling through the list of attorneys I saved earlier. It's time to map out my future, to reclaim my autonomy, my dignity. Sophia shattered what we had, but I refuse to let her shatter me. As I start making calls, setting appointments, I feel the smallest ember of hope stir inside me, an unfamiliar sensation after weeks of emptiness. This isn't the ending I had envisioned, but maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning I truly need. I slam my laptop shut, my pulse pounding with rage. How dare he? Derek's email about dividing our finances sits in my inbox like a blatant challenge, a shot fired across the battlefield of our marriage. It's so predictable, so typical of him, always needing control, always assuming he can strong-arm me into submission. Why can't he understand? Why doesn't he see that I'm trying to save us, not destroy us? An open marriage could have reignited our passion, given us a new beginning. But no. Derek clings to his outdated, suffocating ideals of loyalty, refusing to even consider another way. I collapse onto the couch, my mind racing. Maybe he just needs more time. Maybe if I stand firm, he'll eventually come to see reason. He has to. He loves me, doesn't he? Surely that love should be stronger than his rigid moral compass. And if it isn't? Well, I have other options. If Derek forces this into court, I can win. I can prove that I'm on the right side of history, that I'm not some powerless wife dependent on a husband's income. I have my own career, my own resources. I don't need him to survive. Let him try to separate our finances. It won't change the reality. I am fully capable of standing on my own. The realization sends a thrill through me. Derek thinks he's punishing me, stripping me of security, but in truth, he's giving me something greater. Complete freedom to be exactly who I am, without guilt, without compromise. If he can't accept that, It's his loss. I refuse to shrink myself to fit into his narrow definition of marriage any longer. Let him believe he's won this round with his legal maneuvers. He has no idea what's coming next. Because I'm not just fighting for financial independence, I'm fighting for the right to live on my terms. And that's a battle I have no intention of losing. Sitting at my desk, I hover over the email draft, my finger poised over the send button. It's addressed to the HR department at Sophia's workplace, the weight of my decision pressing down on me. My lawyer's words echo in my mind. Workplace affairs are often against company policy. This could give you leverage in the divorce. The thought unsettles me. It feels like a low blow, a move beneath me. But then I remember her smirk, the casual way she admitted to her betrayal, as if our vows were nothing but an inconvenience to her. My hesitation vanishes. She made her choice. Now, she has to live with the fallout. I hit send. The days blur into a whirlwind of work and legal meetings. I'm stepping out of my lawyer's office when my phone vibrates. My mother's name flashes across the screen. I consider ignoring it, but answer on impulse. Mom. Her voice is tight with fury. Derek, what have you done? I exhale slowly. Hello to you too. Don't you dare be flippant with me. Sophia lost her job because of you. How could you be so cruel? A sharp heat rises in my chest. She lost her job because she made choices that had consequences. That's on her, not me. She's devastated, Derek. Her mother and I are with her now. We're coming over to talk some sense into you. Don't bother, I say, my voice like ice. I have nothing to discuss. But the call has already ended. Perfect. Just what I need. A showdown with the three self-appointed arbiters of my moral compass. I pace my apartment, steeling myself. Sure enough, an hour later, there's a sharp knock at my door. When I open it, Sophia and her mother stand there, Sophia's eyes red from crying, but beneath the tears, fury smolders. How could you? She hisses, shoving past me into the room. You've destroyed everything. I plant my feet, refusing to be intimidated. I didn't destroy anything, Sophia. That was all you. My mother's voice cuts in, disappointment dripping from every syllable. This isn't who you are, Derek. I raised you better. A bitter laugh escapes me, harsh and unfiltered. Better than what? Better than standing up for myself? Better than refusing to be manipulated and deceived? I repeat, my voice thick with disbelief. Sophia's mother exhales sharply, her patience clearly strained but still intact. We're only trying to help you see reason, she insists. You still have the chance to make things right, to rise above this. A short, bitter laugh escapes me. Rise above? I scoff. Like Sophia did when she betrayed me? Or like you both, when you twisted her cheating into some enlightened, progressive decision and expected me to go along with it? Sophia takes a step forward, reaching out as if to bridge the chasm between us, but I recoil, as though her touch might burn me. Derek, please, she pleads, her voice softer now, almost desperate. I know I hurt you, but this doesn't have to be the end. We can fix this. No, Sophia, we can't, I say, my voice firm, unwavering. You made your choice when you decided to be unfaithful. You doubled down on it when you tried to push me into an open marriage I never agreed to. And even now, you're doing it again by refusing to take responsibility. I inhale deeply, steadying myself, my resolve like iron. I want you all to leave. And let me make this perfectly clear. If you ever try something like this again, if you harass me or attempt to manipulate me into submission, I won't hesitate to get the authorities involved. From now on, any communication will go through my lawyer. I move to the door, pulling it open. Get out. They hesitate, their expressions a mixture of shock and indignation. One by one, though, they step past me, resentment flickering in their eyes. As the door clicks shut behind them, I sag against it, the tension bleeding from my body. It's done. The boundary is set. My gaze falls on my phone, the screen glowing with yet another unread message. Please, can we talk? I miss you. Pathetic. I have become the very person I used to disdain, clingy, lost, desperate. Just 6 months ago, I believed I had it all figured out. I prided myself on being progressive, untethered from outdated notions of monogamy, convinced I was forging a bold new path. And now? Now, I sit in a cramped, dimly lit apartment, drowning in overdue bills, suffocating under the weight of my own decisions. The irony is cruel. I chased excitement, a fresh spark to ignite my life. Instead, I destroyed the foundation that had once kept me steady. My savings, once a badge of my independence, are gone. Money evaporates faster than I ever imagined when you're unemployed and blacklisted in your own industry. Every job application feels futile. One simple search of my name dredges up the scandal, branding me unreliable. No one is willing to take a chance on me. And Jacob, the man I risked everything for? He disappeared the moment things got real. The thrill of sneaking around had been his only real interest, not a genuine relationship. When the secrecy faded and the financial strain set in, he vanished without a backward glance. I was a fool, arrogant. I thought I was above jealousy, immune to financial hardship, beyond the reach of consequences. I convinced myself Derek would understand, that he would eventually see my perspective and come around. But he never wavered. He stood firm in his convictions while I let mine crumble. I pick up my phone again, my fingers trembling as I scroll through old pictures. Derek and me laughing, holding each other, eyes brimming with love. When did that stop being enough? When did I convince myself I needed more? Swallowing the lump in my throat, I dial his number. It rings once, twice, 3 times. Then, miraculously, he answers. Derek, I whisper, my voice a fragile thread of hope and fear. Thank you for picking up. His response is distant, devoid of warmth. What do you want, Sophia? I wanted to apologize. My voice falters. I've spent so much time reflecting on everything, on the choices I made. I was wrong. So wrong. Can we try again? I miss you. I miss us. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Then, when he finally speaks, his words cut deeper than I thought possible. There is no us, Sophia. You made sure of that. I'm sorry you're struggling, but that's not my concern anymore. Please don't contact me again. The line goes dead. My phone slips from my fingers, clattering onto the floor as tears blur my vision. This is my reality now. No job, no savings, no partner, no direction. All because I bought into the illusion of a modern love that turned out to be nothing but a slow-motion disaster of my own making. I curl up on the bed, my body racked with sobs. The open relationship I believed would set me free has instead become my prison. And the cruelest part? I'm the one who locked myself inside. As night falls, regret settles over me like a suffocating weight, inescapable and absolute. How do you rebuild a life when you were the one who so carelessly tore it apart? My friend, and this is the end of the story. If you liked this story, then put your royal like and subscribe to the channel. May the force be with you.